Hello and welcome to the Pro Wrestling Personified Podcast. I'm your host, Louis Carlin, and we're part of the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast Network. This is the Impact Wrestling edition of the Pro Wrestling Personified Podcast. You can find me on Twitter at PWSOTH and on Facebook at Pro Wrestling Personified. You can find me on Patreon at patreon.com/Pro Wrestling Personified. www.patreon.com/Pro Wrestling Personified. You can find me on there. You'll have some exclusive content. Of my other show, Old School Memories, where I talk about old school memories, growing up watching wrestling. There's a few episodes that are on there for patrons only. It's $1 a month. Feel free to go ahead and sign up and become a patron of the Pro Wrestling Personified Podcast. Again, it's patreon.com/Pro Wrestling Personified. So go ahead and check that out as well. All right. Got a few things to talk about this week. Gonna go over, of course, the Impact Wrestling show. We're gonna talk about the One Night Only, which is coming up, Night of Dummies. I have a list of matches here, so I'm gonna go over those. No spoilers. I haven't read any spoilers, so I don't know who wins or loses. But I'm just gonna go over the matches. I'll read the matches that were on the card. It's debuting September 14th on the Global Wrestling Network. So if you don't have the Global Wrestling Network, it is a great network. I would recommend that you sign up for it. It's if you're an Impact Wrestling fan and an independent wrestling fan, you should get the Global Wrestling Network. Lots of great content on there. We're gonna go over that. Some news I want to go over as well. Just little tidbits, and then we'll go into the Impact show, and then we'll wrap it up as usual. Trying to get some co-hosts. I think I might have found an old friend. An old buddy. Spoke to him this week, and hopefully we could hook up next week and we could get together, and it could be Impact Pro Wrestling Personified Impact Wrestling Podcast Tag Team. So I'm hoping for that as well. Not that I don't like doing it by myself, but I like being with I like doing it with other people. It makes it a little more fun. Again, not that I'm not having fun now, but it's more fun when I have somebody along for the ride. And I've had a number of guest co-hosts, but this one happens to be my favorite. I'm not going to say any names. I'm not going to say, and I got my fingers crossed that he'll be back, but he's definitely my favorite. So I had to, I gave him a call and asked him. He said he's cool with it. So hopefully next week we could hook up and we could do a Pro Wrestling Personified Podcast, Impact Wrestling Edition podcast together. So fingers crossed, everybody. Fingers crossed. Okay, so let's. What should we do? Let's go into a little bit of news. Pentagon Jr. and Fenix. The rumors are running rampant right now that the WWE want to sign these two, the Lucha Brothers, Pentagon Jr. and Fenix, who they're currently in, they wrestle promotion. They're in Impact Wrestling. They're also AAA, CMLL, Lucha Underground. They've wrestled for all those. And of course we know Pentagon Jr. and Fenix were both at All In. Pentagon Jr. had a tremendous match with Kenny Omega. So it all started, Major League Wrestling, MLW, tweeted out, it's been an incredible year. It's been an incredible 2018 for the Lucha Bros, after a monumental moment, and a monumental moment is on the horizon for Phoenix and Pentagon as we hear what 2019 holds for them. MLW fans may be shocked to see what's next, and they spelled next NXT. So that started the rumor that WWE is going to sign these two, or they've already been signed. And Phoenix, and I'm reading this off the internet now, and Phoenix responded to that saying, "Thank you, MLW. As always, it's a pleasure to be here. The future is wonderful." So that was Phoenix's, Rey Fenix's response to that, and that added fuel to the fire that they're about to sign, to the rumor that they were about to sign with the WWE, or the WWE bound. But Pentagon Jr. kind of squashed those rumors, thankfully. thankfully he kind of squashed those rumors. I'm saying thankfully because personally I think they would be buried in the WWE. I know the WWE, they're looking to get it into the Latin market, like Mexico. They're looking to sign some Mexican or luchadors. So they're looking to get Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix there because they're red hot right now. But Pentagon Jr. kind of squashed it, like I said, where after he had a match for a PCW against Hammerstone, he said he's not going anywhere and he will be in PCW for many more years. He said PCW, but he's in other promotions as well. But he used PCW here for many more years. So looks like those rumors are just hopefully those rumors are just rumors and they're not going anywhere. Because like I said, personally, I think they would be, they could go to NXT and they might do well in NXT, but once they get up to the main roster, they're just going to be buried. I'm sorry. They'll probably be turned into like a comedy act or something. They might start off like a ball of fire, but then it would cool down quite a bit, and then they would be like, maybe like the Pentagon Jr. Rey Fenix comedy act, and then there'll be like a comedy duo where they'll be tripping over their own feet or something. It's something WWE has they have a knack of taking tremendous talent and making them look like fools. I'm sorry, or burying them. Not all of them. I mean, look at AJ Styles. He's having tremendous success there, and Shinsuke Nakamura. Well, I don't watch it, but I just read what I see on the internet, and I think Shinsuke Nakamura is having a little bit of success there, but nothing like he would have had or has been having or has had when he was in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So that's, I hope they don't sign with them. And the WWE, I know they're trying to expand their markets, but they're worried right now, in my opinion. They're worried. They're not the be all end all professional wrestling anymore. Wrestlers don't have to go to the WWE to make a good living anymore. Now I'm not a Joey Ryan fan. Okay, I'm not a Joey Ryan fan. I'm not a fan of the penis and everything, but Joey Ryan did make a great point. He said he has no interest in signing with the WWE if they ever came knocking. I don't think they ever would, but if they ever came knocking, he had no interest in signing with them because he went into professional wrestling to be his own boss. And that's how I think more wrestlers should look at it. Like you have Pentagon Jr., Rey Fenix. They're their own boss. They can wrestle wherever they want. They can set their own schedule. That's what Joey Ryan was alluding to. He sets his own schedule, and more and more wrestlers are going that route. Cody Rhodes, the Young Bucks. They don't need the WWE. I mean, look what happened. Madison Square Garden, Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling sold out in a matter of minutes. Not the WWE. New Japan Pro Wrestling, Ring of Honor sold out in a matter of minutes. All in, sold 11,000 tickets. The professional wrestling fan, they're craving for professional wrestling. Not sports entertainment. They're craving professional wrestling. Now, I'm not a WWE fan. I know a lot of people are, and there's nothing wrong with that. You want to be a fan of the WWE, that's your thing, man. I know Nick and Myron, Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast, and they got the dorks, the wrestling dorks. They're WWE fans, and that's perfectly fine. I think I am the only person at the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast Network that's not a fan of the WWE. I don't watch the WWE. I don't like the WWE. I like professional wrestling. I don't like sports entertainment. Plain and simple. New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, Ring of Honor. Give me those three. Give me any promotion over the WWE at any moment, and I prefer it over the WWE. That's just me. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel. And like I said, if you're a WWE fan, that's perfectly fine. I don't hate you. I still have much love for you. And that's how it is. But back to Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix. I hope they don't sign with. But then again, I'm saying that from a fan standpoint. And Nick made a good point. He brought up, I think he was talking about Kenny Omega. or the Young Bucks, and saying that they have obligations to their families, they have families to support. So, I mean, if the WWE comes at them with a ton of money, you know, and you got a family to support, and you're thinking that you got to take it, you got to think about your family. I know, you know, I don't want you to go there, but of course, you know, I work for, the company I work with. If another company came up to me and offered me 4 times the amount of money that I'm making now, you know, I'd have to think about going there. So, you know, you gotta think about it in terms of, you know, Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix and supporting their families. And is it smart to turn down a ton of money if a ton of money is thrown at them? But then again, I'm sure they're making a good living, you know, being their own boss on the independent scene at Impact Wrestling and all the promotions that they work for. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Like I said, I'll put it this way. I hope they don't sign with the WWE, and I hope they make a ton of money where they could live comfortably and support their family. So there you go. That's all I'll say about that right now. Anyway, Matt Hardy was interviewed recently. I'm not sure where he was interviewed, who interviewed him, or what show he was interviewed on, but he made a comment saying that he's open to returning to Impact Wrestling. Of course he is now, because he sees what's going on there. The WWE, I'm sorry, but you know, I don't watch like I said, you know, I don't watch the WWE, but I've heard from other people that do watch the WWE that the broken gimmick isn't really working in the WWE. And I think apparently Matt Hardy is injured right now. He's recovering from injury, and I think his contract's coming up soon. And he said he's open to returning to Impact Wrestling. We'll see what happens. Would I like to see Matt Hardy back in Impact Wrestling? I don't know. Like, what would he do? I mean, I think the broken gimmick has ran its course. I don't think it's really working as good as it did when he first introduced it to Impact Wrestling. So I don't know. It depends on how he comes back. You know what I mean? If he comes back as broken Matt Hardy again, I don't know how that would work. I mean, like I said, it's run its course in my opinion. All right, so we'll see what happens there. With Matt Hardy. Jeff Hardy, I'm not sure. Matt Hardy did say, of course, he would like to finish his career with the WWE, of course. But he said he's open to returning to Impact Wrestling. So we'll see if that happens. And, of course, I think I'm still holding out hope that Chris Jericho will be showing up at Impact Wrestling very, very soon. I still think he's going to appear at Bound for Glory in some aspect, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. There. Anyway, that's oh yeah, there was one person on Twitter. I wanted to point this out. There was one person on Twitter. Impact Wrestling put up they tweeted who's next to challenge for the Impact Wrestling Knockouts title. And this person said that Impact Wrestling doesn't have enough women wrestlers. Now this person obviously doesn't watch Impact Wrestling because they have a tremendous amount of very good Impact Wrestling women talent. Let me rephrase that. It's late. I'm tired. Impact Wrestling has a tremendous amount of excellent women talent, and I don't know what he was thinking when he said there's not enough women wrestlers in Impact Wrestling. I don't know what he's alluding to, or if he's maybe he's watching on the Global Wrestling Network and he's watching 2015 episode. I don't know. But right now they have a tremendous amount of women talent in Impact Wrestling, and I pointed that out to him as well. Anyway, so let's move along. This is going to be, let's talk about, I'm sorry, taking a drink of water. Let's talk about the Impact Wrestling episode this week. And then we'll touch upon Nights of the Dummies. I'll read over the matches. It's debuting September 14th on the Global Wrestling Network. And then we'll wrap it up. I just looked at my Patreon page. Still 0 patrons. Still 0. Come on, people. I just need 1. It will make me feel better. It'll make me feel better if I look at it next week and I see 1 patron. So come on. I mean, I could do it myself, but that would be cheating. So I need $1 a month. It's $1 a month. It'll make it'll make Nick very happy. Nick is he'd like to see me get a patron. I'd like to see it too. So patreon.com, Pro Wrestling Personified. Go ahead, follow me. And I'm going to bring you on the show. If you're the first person that follows me, you're coming on the show and we're going to talk. You're going to get to talk to me live. You're going to talk to me live. All you got to do is $1 a month and you get to talk to me. And you get to talk to me. It's only $1. Come on. I want to see that 1 patron next week. We can do it. Let's get it done. Let's get it done, folks. 1 patron. Let's get it done. You know what was funny this week? I was at a conference. I was at a conference this week, for my company. I was having a conference. And I was in the hotel and very interesting. I was walking through the lobby and I saw someone that looked very familiar. I was like, that's not Alicia Atout, is it? And it was Alicia Atout, backstage interviewer for Impact Wrestling. She was in the hotel lobby. So I just went up there because I had met her before at the Bad Intention show, and I talked to her for a bit. So it was pretty cool. I spoke with Alicia for a little bit. So it was really cool. Should have got a picture, but I didn't. But it was cool talking to her for a little bit and praised her work, and she thanked me, and that's it. And I'll see her again at the October Border City Wrestling 25th anniversary show, which is a one-night only event. I got my VIP tickets. I'll be meeting a lot of wrestlers there, so I'm looking forward to that. All right, so just wanted to bring that up. I just looked at it again. I'm still at 0 patrons. I thought maybe somebody would have signed up by now, but within the last 3 minutes, I thought maybe somebody would have signed up, but no, it's still 0 patrons. Well, let me refresh it. So it's like me versus Patreon now. I want to. My cousin's a musician. He's on Patreon. He's got like 37 patrons. Yeah, I got none. It doesn't make me look good. It's like it's like a Patreon battle going on in the family, and I'm getting killed. So I need help here from my fans, from my listeners of the Pro Wrestling Personified Podcast. Yeah, I need patrons, man. Come on, we could do this. We could catch my cousin. We only got 38 to go, and I could catch him. Let's do this. Let's do this. Anyway, so where are we at right now? Hey, how are we for time? No, we got plenty of time. All right, so let's move along. Let's talk about Impact Wrestling this week. Let's review the show. So the show, of course, started out with a recap of Redefined, and we go right into our first match, which was a rematch from last week. Rich Swann against Petey Williams, and Matt Sydal joins the commentary. This was a good opening match, good back and forth action. Petey Williams does win the match this week. Last week it was Rich Swann. Matt Sydal, he caused a distraction. He distracted Rich Swann, which caused Petey Williams to hit the Canadian Destroyer and get the win and defeat Rich Swann. While the match was good back and forth match, I didn't like the match. I didn't like how it ended. I didn't like that Petey Williams won, and I didn't like that Rich Swann went one-on-one against Petey Williams again. I mean, he beat Petey Williams last week. So why do we have to have another Rich Swann versus Petey Williams match? I know, Rich Swann is so good. He's so smooth. Great addition to Impact Wrestling. Great addition to the X Division. Said that he wants the X Division title. I spoke with Alicia Atout. Wants the X Division title. And he gave a little speech last week of how much that title meant to him growing up and how much it means to him now. it would have been, my opinion would have been better just to have Rich Swann take on somebody else, maybe Caleb Conley or something, and get another win under his belt, and then have Seidel come out, maybe attack him, cause, the Rich Swann, Matt Seidel feud has officially begun. And it's gonna be a good one. But I didn't like Rich Swann, losing to Petey Williams this week. Unless, if it was a 2 out of 3, if it was like a 2 out of 3, well, what's the word I'm looking for? say that whoever won 2 out of 3 times. I'm spacing out today. Whoever won 2 out of 3 times, would get a shot at the, X Division title. Then I can understand, but it's just, having the word is series. Well, why couldn't I, the word is series. 2 out of 3 full series of matches between Rich Swann and Petey Williams. That would have been cool, but no, I mean, I want to see Rich Swann get built up, win matches, win week after week. I know he's going into the feud with Matt Seidel. I'm fully expecting Rich Swann, to come out on top. I would imagine they're gonna meet at Bound for Glory. But, give Rich Swann the push, have him undefeated for a number of weeks and build him up to be a credible opponent for Brian Cage, but I didn't like him losing this week, to Petey Williams. It's my opinion, of course. And Matt Seidel just, sat down on the ring ramp and pointed to his forehead, I think, and made a reference to the third eye, and that distracted Rich Swann enough that, Petey Williams defeated him. So it kind of made Rich Swann look kind of almost dumb, in my opinion. But don't get me wrong, I love Rich Swann. The guy is so damn smooth. He's a great wrestler, great addition to Impact Wrestling. I just, if he won again here this week, okay, but I didn't like him losing to Petey Williams, this week. Sorry. And backstage, Rich Swann is, he's upset. Seidel meets him and kind of tells him not to be angry, but, Rich Swann tells Seidel to stay the hell away from him. So, the feud, like I said, the feud officially started, so it started last week when they had their first interaction. And, I'm looking forward to Rich Swann and Matt Seidel, and, just want to see Rich Swann get a number of clean wins under his belt and then challenge Brian Cage for the X Division title. Alright, then at match 2, my favorite tag team right now, the Desi Hit Squad, Rohit Raju and Gursinder Singh taking on Joe Hendry and Grado. Joe Hendry came out to a cute little video, saying that, he's in love with his best friend's girlfriend, Katarina, but only as a friend. I think it was called Platonic Love. So it was a cute little video. I enjoy watching his, entrance videos. Hendry and Grado, they come out, and it was a decent match also. Desi Hit Squad works well together. I don't know why I'm reading on the internet, people aren't, they're not digging the Desi Hit Squad. I'm digging them, man. I'm digging the Desi Hit Squad. I think they work really, really well together. They got the win here, thankfully, and they lost their last couple of matches, but they got back on the winning side here, and they beat Joe Hendry and, Grado. And after the match, Katarina comes in and she, gets upset at Grado, says that she doesn't love him anymore, and that she loves Joe Hendry, and she goes to kiss Joe Hendry, but Joe Hendry's not having any of that, and he pushes her away and kind of says, "Don't you know what platonic love means?" And he calls her an embarrassment, and Katarina, upset, slaps Joe Hendry, and then leaves. And later on, afterwards, we see Hendry and Grado talking backstage about the whole thing, and I think they apologize to each other, and all seems to be good with Joe Hendry and Grado. I thought Hendry was going to turn on Grado. I'm not feeling that now. I'm feeling Katarina coming back with 2 wrestlers from England to feud, or the UK or Ireland or Scotland or wherever, and to feud with Hendry and Grado. So that's what I'm feeling right now. So that's what we're probably going to see coming up in the next few weeks. Katarina coming back with another team and to feud with Hendry and Grado. Alright, and then from there we had the Global Wrestling Network flashback. Bully Ray wins the TNA title from Jeff Hardy. with the help of aces and eights. That's how we're going to leave it. I'm not going to go into it. No point in going into it. It's always way, way too long. They did the right thing a few weeks ago where they had a quick 30-second clip of AJ Styles returning, but here this went on way too long again. They could have had another first-run match or something. I know they're promoting the Global Wrestling Network, but they don't need to show a 7-minute segment to promote the Global Wrestling Network. Anyway, so we KM and Falaba. KM and Falaba are with Scarlett Bordeaux. Basically, another segment with her. They basically thank her for some advice. And they just had another segment of Scarlett Bordeaux said a few things, made them look gaga, and they got all, blushy and everything, and then she took off, and KM and Falaba, they left, and Falaba gave his trademark ba as he's walking away. So a cute little sketch. Scarlett Bordeaux looked exceptionally nice this week. I think it's safe to say. I think my wife can't hear me right now. I can't hear me right now, but she looked pretty decent this week. Pretty decent last week. I could see why KM was gay. Even his everything. He looked like he was blushing all over. His whole body was blushing. But so wasn't a fan last week of her segment of the smoke show, and we didn't get a smoke show this week, and which is cool. I don't mind these little quick segments, but the smoke show, maybe they put it on hold for now, and they didn't really mention anything about the smoke show, and so maybe they heard me last week and they just put it on hold for a little bit because I don't think it was really working. But anyway, and up next was something that I'm really digging, something I'm really enjoying, and that's the Eli Drake Open Challenge. I know it's not the first one. We kind of had one last week. For the past 2 weeks, I should say, but he had his open challenge, and he came out, he cut a promo, Night of the Dummies, and he issues the open challenge, and Stone Rockwell, adventure, Stone Rockwell comes out, and he's pro wrestling's only action adventure superstar, and comes out, and the crowd was really popping for Stone Rockwell. You got an adventure chance, and they go back and forth for a little bit, talking, Eli Drake and Stone Rockwell, and the match begins. Drake attacks him, gets him up in the gravy train, and gets the win, very, very fast, less than 20 seconds. Eli Drake wins the match. I really, really, really like this. I like this segment. I like Eli Drake. He doesn't come out wearing ring gear. He's not wearing his wrestling tights. He's not wearing his wrestling boots. He's just kind of in, his gym clothes, not a care in the world. He's very, very cocky. I'm enjoying it. And it was fun to see Stone Rockwell, and not somebody that's currently on the roster, but someone that you don't normally see. And Stone Rockwell answered the challenge. And next week, hope to see someone like Josh Alexander or maybe an Aiden Prince come out and challenge Eli Drake. And sooner or later, they're not all going to be squash matches. There's going to be someone that's going to give Eli Drake a run for his money. And I wouldn't be surprised if somebody comes out like a Josh Alexander and gets a victory over Eli Drake. So that's what I hope this is building up to. And I know there are people on the internet knocking it, saying he just signed this long-term contract, and what's he doing? What are they doing with Eli Drake? Because right now don't worry, Eli Drake is going to be in the main event picture very, very soon, and he belongs there. But I really dig this. I really I'm saying the word dig a lot. I really enjoy this, as I stated. Eli Drake, tremendous talent, coming out as a cocky superstar, doesn't think anybody can beat him, challenges anyone to come out, so anyone can come out and take the challenge. And just take a look. Let's think 6 weeks down the road, so a Pentagon Jr. comes out and accepts a challenge. That'll be tremendous. Or Rey Fenix comes out and accepts a challenge. You know how great that would be. So I hope this goes on for a while. I'm all in. I'm all in for the Eli Drake Open Challenge. All right. So after that, we had a couple of the Lucha Brothers who are not going to the WWE. Or if they wanted, that's cool. But let's not go. I already spoke about that. But Pentagon Jr. Phoenix, they come out and they cut a promo. I'm pretty sure they mentioned something about Brian Cage joining them to take out OVE. Can't remember. I didn't write notes down, but I'm pretty sure they did. And I know they said if they don't do it, they'll do it themselves. So they cut the promo on there. It was kind of like a video package promo. And then Moose and Austin Aries and Kevin Cross are hanging out backstage. Alicia Atut comes in and they don't want to be interviewed. They chase her away. And then Alicia Edwards comes in, yells at Moose, and Aries stands up and Alicia says, "Tell your boy to sit down," and blah, blah, blah. And that was the end of the segment. I don't know. Alicia comes across as a little bit of annoying to me. I'm sorry. But anyway, let's move along. I don't want to talk about that segment much longer. So we have the Knockouts title match. Tessa Blanchard against Su Yung. And this was a very, very, very good match. I really enjoyed this match. I love both Tessa Blanchard and Su Yung. I think they're both tremendous talents. Tessa Blanchard, I think, is the better talent of the two. I think Tessa Blanchard, as I said last week, is probably the best female wrestler in the world right now. I really can't think of anybody better than Tessa Blanchard right now. And I was expecting a very solid match, and that's exactly what we got. A solid match. Great action in this match. Good back and forth action. Very, very entertaining. I didn't think that Tessa Blanchard was going to lose her title. I picked her to win clean when the match started, and I was right. She won clean. But we had one hell of a match. Between the two. But in the end, it was Tessa Blanchard who was raising her hand high, and she retained the title. But that wasn't the end. Post match, Su Yung attacks Tessa Blanchard and takes her out with a panic switch. And the undead bridesmaids arrive, and they come out with a coffin. They open the coffin, and Su Yung drags Tessa up the ramp, places her in the coffin, but before she can close it, and here I thought Rosemary was gonna be in the coffin. You know, when they had opened the coffin, I thought Rosemary was gonna come out of that coffin, and Rosemary was gonna be back, or the lights were gonna go out, or Rosemary was gonna be back, and I just thought we were gonna see Rosemary, but we didn't see Rosemary. Ali and Hogan came out, made a save. They didn't allow Su Yung to close the coffin. They took out Su Yung. But then Tessa gets up, she's complaining she doesn't need any help, she doesn't need any friends. And Ali I think Ali was trying to explain that, you know, we helped you, we stopped you from being shut down in the coffin. And Tessa's screaming, "I don't need any friends." So I don't know if this is the start of Ali trying to become friends with Tessa program or not, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I kind of like Tessa on her own. It's true, she doesn't need anybody. She's so good, she just can be by herself. But we'll see. I still think Kiera Hogan is going to turn on Ali sooner or later. But for the guy who said there's not enough women in the Impact Wrestling, you know, did you watch? There's four of the top stars right there, you know, and there's a lot more. Okay, there's plenty of women wrestlers in Impact Wrestling. All right, so where do we go from here? I'm on a roll. I'm rolling along right here, and oh yeah, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. It was King and Conan. They meet the bosses, or the commission, as they're being called, and the heads of the family. You know, so then suddenly Conan and King are part of the Italian mafia. So, I don't know. It's not the head of the family. He looked like an Italian mafia boss, and he's just sitting there. And there were two other guys there, and they're talking to King and Conan saying that King broke the code, and King says they're trying to keep him down, and then the commission is not happy, and this business is going to be hurt by this kind of heat, and that they took out a kid, and King tried to defend himself, and the commission, the Italian mafia boss, or the Italian mafia boss wannabe, says that, we need to talk, the head of they said the commission, we all need to talk to each other. The three guys that were there that are the quote unquote commission, and they're discussing something amongst themselves, and then they said, okay, this is what we've come up with. There's going to be a ceasefire. There's going to be a ceasefire until Bound for Glory. And then that's where it ends. And he says it's got Bound for Glory. And suddenly the Italian mafia boss, or the commission, or the heads of the families, suddenly they've become match bookers for Impact Wrestling. And they say it's going to be LAX and Conan versus the OGZs. Homicide and Hernandez and King in the final war. So, Santana and Ortiz and Conan taking on OGZ and King at Bound for Glory. And that's how the commission, that's how the heads of this crime family is going to settle this war. Yeah. So I wonder, and Don Callis seemed cool with it, man. Don Callis seemed cool with it because they came back and he goes, "Oh my God, look, we're gonna have the first match is announced. The first match is announced for Bound for Glory." It's the heads of the crime family. I mean, Don Callis is not gonna. Don Callis, Scott D'Amore, I don't think they're gonna want to interfere. I mean, they could get taken. They could get rubbed out by the heads of the family. I mean, the heads of the family, they're just jumping into. They become bookers for Impact Wrestling. The whole thing was cool. I kind of thought, I'm watching like a TV show or like a movie or something, up until the point where the head guy, the head Italian mafia dude, head of the crime family, he looked Italian. He looked Italian to me. Whether he was Italian or not, I don't know. But until they said, it's going to end at Bound for Glory. So suddenly, the whole feud is going to end. We've decided as the heads of this huge crime family, this notorious crime family, we've decided that we're making a match at Bound for Glory. We're making a match at Bound for Glory, and that's where the feud ends. Not that, we're gonna, we're gonna take you for a ride and into a cornfield and shoot you all in the head like what would be done in the movies. But no, we're gonna have a match at Bound for Glory, and that's gonna be the final war. Whoever wins that's cool with us, right? We're in the notorious crime family. We found new ways of settling our beefs within our family. Just have a match. We could have pro wrestling matches at Bound for Glory, and it's interesting how the heads of these Santana and Ortiz and Conan and Homicide and Hernandez and King, they're all part of this notorious crime family, but they also happen to be professional wrestlers. So I find it humorous. I find the whole thing funny. I'm sorry. I don't want to knock Impact Wrestling, but this kind of made me laugh. A few things make me laugh, from like the whole thing with Brian Cage. They kind of plugged out Brian Cage. Next week he speaks. Like, ooh, Brian Cage is speaking. I thought it was funny that they worked like this. That the boss of a notorious crime family books a match at Bound for Glory. So it says the war ends after the match. This is the final war. Okay, so that's cool. That's cool. Anyway. Oh man. Oh, look at this. I'm getting okay, cool. All right, so I'm just getting a text there. I thought it was from somebody important, but it was only from Myron, so it was okay. Actually, I didn't get anything from Myron. Anyway, let's move along. I think we have two more things to talk about. We had Zachary Wentz, Ace Austin, and Trey Miguel against Sami Callihan, Jake and Dave Christa of OVE. So I have to say that this was my favorite match of the whole show. People were online when they announced this match, Impact Wrestling, and everyone was saying, who's Ace Austin? Who's Zachary Wentz? Who's Trey Miguel? Why is OVE against these three jobbers for us? What I was seeing on Twitter. Now I know Ace Austin. I know Zachary Wentz. They're great talents. I didn't know much about Trey Miguel. I didn't think it was going to be a squash match. I thought this match was going to we're going to get a lot of offense from Austin, Miguel, and Wentz, and we did. And it wasn't a long match. It was maybe 5-6 minutes long, if it was even that long. But this was a good back and forth match. Ace Austin, Zachary Wentz, Miguel, they all got in some really good offense, and they worked so well with OVE, and I really enjoyed this match. I thought it was the best match of the show. My favorite match of the show. Zachary Wentz, Ace Austin, tremendous talents there. I'm not sure yet about Trey Miguel. Austin and Wentz, they put on a little showcase there in this match, and I really enjoyed it. But of course, OVE wasn't going to lose, and they didn't. They won. They defeated Austin, Miguel, and Wentz. But I want to see more of Austin. I want to see more of Wentz. I want to see more of Miguel. This match was basically, I think, to introduce Impact Wrestling to these three wrestlers, and there was two really good talents there, one potentially good talent, in my opinion. I want to see more of them. I hope we see more of them. I hope they bring them along to Mexico, and I hope we see more of Austin, Miguel, and Zachary Wentz. If I had to pick one of the three, right now I think Zachary Wentz is the best of the three, with Ace Austin very, very close behind. I saw Ace Austin was at Bad Intentions in that three-way dance against Dustin Quicksilver and Aiden Prince, and that was a great match. I would love to see more of Aiden Prince in Impact Wrestling. Aiden Prince, very, very, very good talent. Would love to see him. Could have been Austin, Prince, and Wentz in this match. That would have been fantastic. But OVE do win the match. And after the match, Sami Callihan, who had pinned Ace Austin, hits another cactus driver, a post-match on Ace Austin. And then he says that they're the best team walking the planet. He cuts a promo on Lucha Brothers and Brian Cage. So they're kind of pushing OVE against the Lucha Brothers and Brian Cage, probably at Bound for Glory, which should be a tremendous matchup. I would love to see Sami Callihan and Brian Cage go one-on-one for that X Division title. I would love to see Callihan actually get that X Division title. I think he would be a terrific X Division champion. And then we close the show with Moose explains his actions. He explains his actions on why he turned against Eddie Edwards. Said, when Eddie Edwards had issues with Tommy Dreamer, and when he was in the hospital, when Sami Callihan hit him in the eye with the bats, and Moose said he was there for Eddie, but when Moose was concussed and hospitalized and thinking about, I think he said he was thinking about retirements, Eddie was nowhere to be found. So that's why he turned against Moose. Now I think this was the same reason why Davey Richards turned against Eddie Edwards. So it kind of added a little bit of legitimacy when he used that as the excuse. Either that, or maybe Don Callis and Scott D'Amore, maybe they weren't watching Impact Wrestling back then, or maybe they forgot that was used as Davey Richards' excuse, or they were just trying to add legitimacy to why someone would turn on Eddie Edwards. But if that's the case, if Eddie Edwards isn't showing up when his friends are hurt, then Moose kind of did the right thing. But I'm sure we'll hear from Eddie Edwards on that this whole thing. Maybe Killer Kross sabotaged, or maybe Killer Kross Killer Kross double crossed Moose and gave him double crossed Eddie Edwards and sent him the wrong address and addressed making it seem like it was from Moose or something. I don't know. I'm just talking out of my ass right now. But we'll see what happens, man. See what happens. But that was Moose's excuse. Why he turned on Eddie Edwards. So cool. I mean, I'm okay. Like I said, Moose becoming a heel was what he needed, and I'm all for it. It's a great trio with Austin Aries, Moose, and Kevin Cross. But the segment didn't end there. Austin Aries started talking, and then Johnny Impact came out. I think Austin Aries said that nobody will take my title, and Johnny Impact's music hits, and he comes out, and they start going back and forth, and Johnny Impact says, "Oh, by the way, at Bound for Glory, it's going to be me against you for the Impact Wrestling World Title, so I'm getting a shot at Bound for Glory." Yeah, I'm doing that because I didn't like the way this whole thing happened. And Aries says, "What, are you a matchmaker now?" And Aries is like, No, it's been confirmed in the back. It's gonna be me and you at Bound for Glory. That's basically how, the writers are taking I'm surprised, Johnny Impact didn't say, the writers are, they're taking they want to take the week off, so this is how we're doing it. I'm just going to come out and I'm announcing that I'm getting a title shot, that I'm the number one contender. I didn't like this at all. I mean, what happened with Johnny Impact and Congo Kong? They had a feud going there. Was the whole payoff, a few weeks ago when Congo Kong, charged Johnny Impact at the Cabana and missed him and ended up in a pool? Was that was the end of the feud? The whole, the whole idea of the feud was to get Congo Kong into a pool of water, and once that happened, the feud ends, and then I could go on to something else. That's how the feud ends. So the feud is over, and just they could have had like a little tournament maybe or something, and maybe Johnny Impact win that tournament. I don't know, just Johnny Impact walking out and saying, "Oh, by the way, I'm your opponent at Bound for Glory." It just seemed very lazy to me. They could have done it a lot better, unless the whole thing is like a swerve or something, cause they took out Johnny Impact. I mean, they took him out, they hit him they put a chair up to his neck like they did with Eddie Edwards, and they hit him hit the chair into the neck and completely took out Johnny Impact. Unless it's, they did that, took him out, Johnny Impact won't be able to compete at Bound for Glory, and there'll be somebody else, Chris Jericho, maybe. But I'm thinking maybe something like that might happen. That would be cool. Cause it seemed just too easy. Him walking out and saying, I got the shot. I got the shot at Bound for Glory. Do I want to see Aries against Johnny Impact again? They had a great match. They met once before, and they had a great match, and I'm sure they'll have a great match again. That's fine. I have no problem with Johnny Impact against Austin Aries at Bound for Glory. I just don't like the way it was done. That's how I feel. And Johnny Impact, he was wearing a really dumb shirt. It's like he has the moose on his back, and it says "Canada, you're welcome" on it. What does that mean? Canada, you're welcome. He's got a moose on his back, and Johnny, I don't understand. Like, you're welcome for what? I don't understand. What's that? Like a bad moose, and you're taking him out of Canada? Or I don't get it. It was a stupid shirt. And I know it's, when I say moose, it wasn't the moose the wrestler, it was the animal moose. A real animal, a real moose with the antlers on him, a bull moose on his back. Unless it was like a knock on Moose in the ring, but I don't see how that shirt made fun of Moose at all. I can understand if the Moose is knocked out and Johnny Impact is standing over the Moose and he says, "You're welcome," but the Moose was on his back. He's like riding him. I don't get it. It was a dumb shirt. I don't know. I didn't like the way the whole thing happened. I am holding out hope that Davey Richards will return to help Eddie Edwards in his feud I guess his feud is with Moose now. Eddie Edwards, Dave Richards really has no reason to come back now. Johnny Impact's now involved in the feud, and that's Aries versus Impact, and Eddie Edwards is feuding with Moose. Killer Cross is not really feuding with, I guess he's feuding with whoever Austin Aries and Moose are feuding with. So I guess Killer Cross is feuding with them as well. But, Moose and Killer Cross against Edwards and Dave Richards will be a decent match. We might see that at Bound for Glory. I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to keep repeating myself, so I won't, about how I feel on how they announced the main event for Bound for Glory. Anyway, that's it. Next week, LAX will be in action. The Lucha Brothers taking on the Cult of Lee, Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix versus Cult of Lee, and Brian Cage goes one-on-one with Congo Kong, which should be an interesting match. So the Congo Kong Johnny Impact feud is 100% over. 100% over. We didn't get a payoff match. We didn't get a final match between the two. But Johnny Impact made Congo Kong jump into a pool of water. And so that ended the feud right there. So we ended the feud. Anyway, so preview for Impact Wrestling's one night only Night of the Dummies. I'm just going to read over the matches because I'm running a little late here. I kind of got to get going, so I'm just going to run down the matches, and it will be this Friday. Is it this Friday? Friday is the 14th. Yeah, so this Friday on the Global Wrestling Network, Night of the Dummies. It's going to be Falaba and Dick Justice, which should be an interesting tag team, against Isis Efix, I'll pronounce that right, and Jay Freddy, don't know who they are. Slick Wagner Brown versus Axel Lennox. Alicia versus Rebel, should be interesting. LAX taking on DJ Z and Andrew Everett. So LAX going up against Z and E. Night of the Dummies, that should be the match of the night right there. I'm really looking forward to that one. Moose versus KM. I guess this would be Z and E's rematch for the Impact Wrestling title, tag team titles, because they never really officially got their rematch. So they've exercised their rematch clause, and they've decided, hey, let's do it at Night of the Dummies. So LAX. So DJ Z and Andrew Everett against LAX. I'm assuming it's for the Impact Wrestling tag team titles. Moose against KM should be an interesting one. Sean Carr versus Bruce Van Slyke, and the main event, Night of the Dummies. Of course, it's named after it's pay-per-view named for Eli Drake. Eli Drake 1-on-1 with Eddie Edwards. Eddie Edwards better not freaking win this match. That would be stupid. So, but anyway, Eli Drake versus Eddie Edwards in the main event. So there you have it. That's Night of the Dummies this Friday, September 14th on the Global Wrestling Network. Let's take a look. Let's refresh my Patreon page, and I am at 0 still. That's cool. Anyway, feel free to follow it. Feel free if you want to join. Anyway, that's it for me. I'm wrapping this up. I am Lewis Carlin. You're listening to the Pro Wrestling Personified Podcast, the Impact Wrestling Edition, part of the Tap Down Wrestling Podcast Network. I will be back next week, hopefully. Oh, I haven't watched, I'm gonna try to watch the MediaCon match, the card, Impact versus UK. I heard it was a wild one. I haven't seen it yet. So I'm gonna try to watch that this week and report on it next week. I'm gonna try to watch Night of the Dummies. It could be a huge show next week. But anyway, until then, thank you very much for listening this week. Take care, bye-bye, and as always, stay safe everyone. So long, bye-bye.